There comes a moment in every person's life when God presses pause on the noise around them and whispers, "Look at yourself. Really look." Not the version of you that you present to the world, not the version of you that hides behind busyness, behind distractions, behind people who don't even value your presence. God is calling the you beneath the excuses, the you beneath the fear, the you beneath the constant habit of pouring into everyone while leaving yourself empty. And the message is simple: focus on yourself and stop wasting time. Because time is not waiting for you to get confident. Time is not pausing for you to heal, to decide, to stop doubting, or to find the perfect moment. Time is moving whether you rise with purpose or wander in circles. And if you keep giving your time to people who drain you, habits that weaken you, and environments that limit you, then you are preparing a future you will regret stepping into. You cannot keep trying to save everyone else while ignoring the rescue God has been trying to bring into your own life. You cannot keep watering dead soil, hoping it will turn into a garden. You cannot keep showing up for people who never show up for you. And you certainly cannot keep postponing your growth because you're afraid of what will happen when you finally choose yourself. Choosing yourself is not selfish. It is stewardship. It is responsibility. It is obedience. When you focus on yourself, you are saying, "God, I am ready to become the person you envisioned when you created me." And that version of you, oh, that version is powerful. That version is disciplined. That version is clear-minded, emotionally grounded, spiritually awake, and intentional about who receives access. But you can't meet that version of you if you're still stuck in yesterday's distractions. Some of you are wasting time replaying conversations that didn't matter. You're wasting time scrolling through lives that aren't yours. You're wasting time giving energy to situations that ended long ago. And the sad part is, deep down, you know you deserve better. You know you were created for more. You know you are capable of rising higher, thinking sharper, praying deeper, and living stronger. But your focus determines your future. If your attention is scattered, your destiny will be too. This is the season to get disciplined, to stop doing what feels good and start doing what leads somewhere, to stop apologizing for wanting peace, to stop explaining why you need space, to stop lowering your standards because people prefer the weaker version of you. This is the season to build, not break, to grow, not shrink, to align, not drift. It's time to stop wasting your life waiting for permission from people who aren't even walking in their own purpose. You don't need their approval. You don't need their applause. You don't need their understanding. What you need is vision. What you need is courage. What you need is to finally say, "I choose me. I choose growth. I choose purpose." So focus fiercely, focus boldly, focus like your future depends on it, because it does. Pour your energy back into the places God has been calling you to, the healing you've postponed, the dream you've been afraid to pursue, the boundaries you've been scared to set. You don't get this life twice. You don't get this time back, and you don't have to stay where you're stuck. Choose yourself. Honor your calling, protect your peace, and watch what happens when you stop wasting time and finally focus on the life that was meant for you. Your time is one of the most sacred gifts you have, and yet it is the gift most people give away without hesitation, without intention, and without realizing the cost. Time is the one currency you can never earn back, never recycle, never restore once it's gone. You can rebuild money, repair relationships, recover confidence, and reinvent identity, but you can never reclaim a single hour that was wasted. That is why guarding your time is not just important, it is essential for the life you want to create. When you treat your time casually, you treat your future casually. When you give it away carelessly, you weaken the foundation you are trying to build. And when you allow others to decide how you spend your hours, you are silently handing them control over your destiny. So many people find themselves exhausted, stretched thin, and spiritually drained, not because they lack capacity, but because they keep pouring themselves into places where their time has no return. They say yes out of guilt, out of pressure, out of habit, and sometimes out of fear. Fear of disappointing people, fear of missing out, fear of being misunderstood. But every time you say yes to something that does not align with your purpose, you are saying no to something that could have moved you forward. Every unnecessary commitment steals a piece of your focus. Every draining conversation steals a piece of your energy. Every hour spent in a place where you don't grow steals a piece of your potential. Your time is sacred because your calling is sacred. The vision inside you requires clarity, not chaos. It requires intention, not impulse. It requires boundaries, not guilt-driven decisions. If your time keeps falling into the wrong hands, your life will follow. You cannot rise into your purpose while entertaining distractions that are designed to keep you in the same place. You cannot evolve if you keep investing in cycles that lead nowhere. And you cannot become who you were meant to be while remaining accessible to anything and anyone at any time. There comes a moment when you must look at your daily life with honesty. Ask yourself, who or what receives the best of me? Who receives the most of me? And does that investment produce growth, or does it produce emptiness? Sacred time requires sacred choices. It means evaluating your days with the same seriousness that a builder evaluates tools before constructing a foundation. It means recognizing that even small moments wasted accumulate into years lost. It means admitting that not every person deserves unlimited access to you, and not every opportunity deserves your presence. And guarding your time does not mean being cold or distant. It means being wise. It means knowing that you are responsible for cultivating the environment where your purpose can thrive. It means learning that preservation is not selfishness. It is preparation. When you honor your time, you honor your gift. When you discipline your schedule, you discipline your future. When you stop allowing distractions to rent space in your life, you make room for clarity, creativity, progress, and peace. Every meaningful transformation begins with the decision to stop leaking time into spaces that produce nothing. It begins with the courage to say, "This no longer serves me," and to redirect your energy toward what strengthens you. It begins with the realization that your time is too precious to waste on confusion, chaos, or anything that keeps you small. And once you start honoring your time, your life begins to align in ways you once prayed for. Choosing yourself is one of the most misunderstood acts in life. Many people have been conditioned to believe that prioritizing their own well-being, healing, and growth is selfish. But choosing yourself is not selfishness. It is obedience to the call on your life and responsibility for the gift you carry. You were not created to live your entire life responding to everyone else's needs while ignoring your own. You were not designed to shrink your purpose, silence your voice, or abandon your peace just to keep other people comfortable. There is a version of you that God has been calling to rise, but that version can only emerge when you finally decide to choose yourself with intention, courage, and consistency. Choosing yourself means acknowledging that your life is not an accident, it is an assignment. And every assignment requires stewardship. You cannot steward a life you continuously neglect. You cannot manage a purpose you never prioritize. When you choose yourself, you are saying, "I honor what God placed in me too much to keep putting myself last." This is obedience, not to your feelings, not to people, but to the divine responsibility resting on your life. You have a purpose that needs nurturing, a voice that needs strengthening, a future that needs protecting. And none of that can happen if you keep sacrificing yourself at the altar of people-pleasing and unnecessary obligations. So many people confuse self-sacrifice with spirituality, as if burning yourself out is a holy calling. But exhaustion is not a sign of righteousness. Continuous depletion is not a badge of honor. You cannot pour into others from an empty vessel. You cannot guide someone else out of darkness while you keep ignoring your own healing. Choosing yourself does not mean abandoning the people you love. It means showing up for them from a place of strength rather than survival. It means refusing to let guilt, fear, or misplaced loyalty keep you from doing what is necessary for your growth. Responsibility requires boundaries. It requires understanding that access to you is a privilege, not a guarantee. It requires recognizing when someone is benefiting from the version of you that does not benefit you. It requires courage to walk away from environments where you are tolerated but not valued, where you are used but not appreciated, where you are needed but never supported. Choosing yourself often reveals truths you tried to ignore, truths about relationships, habits, and patterns that were silently holding you back. But once you see the truth, you cannot unsee it. And once you know better, obedience demands that you do better. Choosing yourself also means choosing your healing. It means confronting the wounds you tried to bury under busyness. It means admitting the hurt, addressing the trauma, and allowing God to restore what life tried to break. Healing is not a luxury, it is a responsibility. Your future self depends on how willing you are to deal with the pain you've been avoiding. Ignoring your healing only prolongs cycles that drain you, distract you, and derail you from your purpose. When you choose yourself, you begin to see your identity differently. You no longer move from a place of desperation, but from a place of dignity. You stop saying yes out of fear and start saying yes from alignment. You stop shrinking to fit into spaces you have outgrown. You stop apologizing for your standards. You stop betraying yourself to be accepted by people who don't even value themselves. Choosing yourself is not an act of selfish ambition. It is a declaration that you are ready to live with intention, clarity, and purpose. It is the moment when you decide that the life inside you is worth protecting and the calling within you is worth honoring. It is obedience to the path designed for you and responsibility for the future waiting on you. And once you make that choice, everything connected to your purpose begins to shift. You rise differently. You move differently. You live differently because you finally chose the version of yourself you were created to become. Destiny is not built on moments of inspiration. It is built on patterns of discipline. Feelings rise and fall. Motivation comes and goes. Excuses are always available. But discipline is the one thing that does not negotiate with your emotions. It does not wait for perfect conditions. It does not bend for comfort. Discipline is the bridge between the life you dream about and the life you actually live. Without discipline, potential becomes wasted, purpose becomes delayed, and destiny becomes a distant possibility instead of a transforming reality. There will be days when you feel strong, confident, and clear, and discipline will feel easy. But there will also be days when your spirit feels heavy, your mind feels foggy, and your heart feels tired. It is in those moments, when everything in you wants to postpone, pause, or quit, that discipline steps in as your anchor. Discipline is deciding to keep moving even when your feelings tell you to retreat. Discipline is choosing alignment over emotion, action over hesitation, and purpose over comfort. Excuses are the silent thieves of destiny. They disguise themselves as logic, as timing, as protection, as not the right moment yet. But excuses always lead you back to the same place, stuck, frustrated, disappointed, wondering why your life isn't changing. You cannot build a meaningful future on the foundation of excuses. You cannot transform your life while defending the habits that keep you stagnant. Every excuse you entertain becomes a brick in the wall that separates you from the person you were created to be. Discipline does not ask you how you feel. Discipline asks you who you want to become. And becoming someone stronger, wiser, healthier, and more powerful requires consistency. Not intensity for one day, but intentionality over many days. Discipline is the daily choice to honor your goals, even when no one is watching, even when progress is slow, even when the results are not immediately visible. It is the willingness to be loyal to your future more than you are loyal to your comfort. Some people pray for transformation, but ignore the discipline required for it. They want clarity without commitment. They want elevation without effort. They want breakthrough without boundaries. But destiny responds to discipline. Miracles align with movement. Favor flows where there is faithfulness. You cannot skip the process and expect the promise. Discipline is how you prepare yourself to receive what you've been asking for. Your destiny is shaped by the small decisions you make every day, the habits you build, the boundaries you set, the responsibilities you embrace, the actions you take even when you don't feel like taking them. These are the materials that construct your future. Discipline teaches you to show up for yourself. It teaches you that you are capable of consistency. It teaches you that you do not need to be ruled by impulses or emotions. It teaches you that you can trust yourself to follow through. There is a version of your life that only discipline will unlock, the healthier version of you, the financially stronger version of you, the spiritually grounded version of you, the emotionally stable version of you, the deeply confident version of you. None of those versions appear through wishful thinking. They emerge through disciplined actions that accumulate into transformation. Discipline is not punishment. It is protection. It protects you from your own limitations. It protects you from the traps of comfort. It protects you from cycles that have robbed you for years. It protects you from being swayed by temporary emotions that could sabotage permanent blessings. Discipline keeps you aligned with what matters, even when distractions try to lure you away. And when you look back months or years from now, you will not remember the discomfort of discipline. You will only see the fruit. You will see the strength you built, the opportunities you created, the peace you protected, the goals you achieved, and the person you became. Discipline shapes destiny because it shapes you. It molds your character, strengthens your resilience, and turns intention into impact. When you commit to discipline, you commit to the future you've been praying for. You stop being driven by feelings and start being guided by purpose. And that is how destiny unfolds. One disciplined decision at a time. Your future is waiting on your focus, not on anyone's permission, approval, or applause. Too many people delay their growth because they are waiting for someone to validate their dreams, confirm their decisions, or reassure them that they are on the right path. But your destiny was never placed in someone else's hands. Your future does not open its doors because people agree with you. It opens because you have the courage to focus on what God has placed inside you. Waiting for permission from others is one of the most effective ways to lose momentum, lose clarity, and eventually lose yourself. Focus is the fuel that moves your life forward, and without it, your purpose becomes blurry. Your direction becomes unstable, and your confidence becomes fragile. There comes a moment when you must accept that not everyone will understand your calling. Not everyone will support your vision. Not everyone will celebrate your progress. And that is perfectly fine because your purpose was not assigned to a group. It was assigned to you. When you keep looking around for approval, you take your eyes off the path in front of you. You start second-guessing your decisions. You start shrinking your dreams to fit the expectations of people who have never dared to dream for themselves. But the future you are praying for requires a level of focus that cannot be negotiated or shared. It requires you to fix your attention on what matters, even when people doubt you or distance themselves from you. Your future cannot be built on borrowed opinions. You cannot build a calling based on someone else's comfort zone. If you wait for permission, you will wait forever. Some people won't give you permission because they don't believe in themselves. Others won't give it because your growth threatens the version of you they were comfortable with. And some simply won't give it because they have never stepped into their own purpose, so they cannot understand yours. But you cannot allow other people's fear to become your boundary. You cannot allow their limitations to become your ceilings. You cannot allow their uncertainty to dictate your direction. Focus requires discipline. It requires intentional choices about what receives your energy and what no longer deserves your attention. When you focus, you stop explaining your vision to people who don't want to understand it. You stop wasting time proving your worth to people who never valued you. You stop shrinking to make others feel secure. Instead, you root yourself in clarity. You protect your vision. You take ownership of your steps, and you allow your results, not your words, to speak for you. Your future needs your full attention. It needs your commitment, your consistency, your courage. It needs you to stop getting distracted by people's opinions and start getting devoted to your purpose. The dream inside you will not grow if you keep planting it in the soil of other people's expectations. It grows when you water it with focus. It flourishes when you feed it with action. It strengthens when you stop asking, will they approve? And start saying, I am responsible for my calling. Focus gives you the power to move even when others stay still. It gives you the clarity to keep going even when no one is cheering. It gives you the resilience to trust the process even when the results are not visible yet. Focus teaches you that your identity is not defined by opinions, and your destiny is not shaped by crowds. It is shaped by obedience, intention, and faith. When you look back years from now, you won't remember who doubted you. You'll remember who you became because you chose focus over permission. You'll see how many doors opened once you stopped waiting for approval. You'll see how much strength you gained once you stopped needing validation. You'll see the beauty of a life built by bold decisions, clear priorities, and unwavering attention to what truly matters. Your future is too important to be delayed by people who were never assigned to your journey. Focus on your path. Focus on your growth. Focus on your calling. Everything else will fall into place when you stop seeking permission and start walking in purpose.